Good evening, everybody. It is Thursday, which means almost Friday. We're excited about the week. Welcome to Fox Soul. You're watching On the 7 with Dr. Sean. I'm excited to have you tonight. Tonight we have another great show. Tonight, do you know we are 19 days away from the end of the year and the end of the decade? We are less than a month away from the end of a decade. An end of the year is coming, and tonight's show is to help you get your mind right. Help you get your life right, help you get your emotions right, because you don't want to get to the end of the year just as crazy as you started it. We all need to be better. We deserve to be better. And tonight, I have an expert on the show who is truly extraordinary, amazing. She's going to help us center ourselves, readjust who and what we are, how we think, how we interrelate, so that we can end the decade strong, with power, and be ready for the rest of our lives. How about that? So, let's do some headlines before we get started. Is that all right? Yeah. So listen, this is interesting because in Richmond, Virginia, they have replaced the Confederate statue with what, a black man in dreads wearing a hoodie and Nikes. Now, this is interesting because the statue is fashioned after Stonewall Jackson riding on his horse. And so the headquarters of the Daughters of the Confederacy. And it's interesting because this statue was meant to replace a Confederate statue. And the artist who did it fashioned the statue after an African American sitting on a horse in the capital of the Confederacy, Richmond, Virginia. This is important. This statue of a black man on a horse with dreads, a hoodie, and Nikes is going to sit in the capital of the former Confederacy. Now, here's why this is important. Because you do realize that racism is not a reality, it's an ideology. And the most powerful thing about an ideology happens to be the fact that it lingers with culture through art. Now, this is important because long after the laws are changed, ideologies live because they live in the culture. You don't need a law in order for an ideology to live. You have to affect the culture, and you affect the culture through art. So what you have going on here, so I need the audience to help me with this. You gonna help me with this? Yes. You sure? Yeah. All right. I want you to answer this question. I want you to yell out the answer as loud as you can, all right? You got me? Yeah. Don't make me look like a fool. We're on live TV. Okay, ready? What color is this? White. Louder. What color is this? White. What color is this? White. What color is this? White. What do cows drink? Milk. You see the point? Because what you see, you associate it with things unconsciously. Cows don't drink milk. They drink water. But when you see something, your mind makes associations. That's why what's happening in Richmond, Virginia is so important because, we have to start seeing different standards of beauty, standards of virtue, different standards of goodness, different standards of masculinity. Because if we don't see it, we'll create associations we're not even thinking about. And let me say this to you. Part of the reason why white folks ran to Donald Trump in 2016 is because they saw it coming. They knew that the nation's standards for beauty and virtue and goodness and masculinity are slowly starting to change. And they understood that one day their history would not be the dominant narrative. So they ran to somebody who made them feel like what they had going on would last forever. It's interesting because at the end of the day, hands that used to pick cotton are not only picking presidents, but the great-grandchildren of Confederate soldiers are listening to our music, they're wearing our clothes, they're watching our movies, reading our books. Some of them even eating our food. And I know sometimes it looks like things aren't changing and the world remains the same, but you need to understand one important thing. Once you win the culture, everything else is just a matter of time. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. So, let's do my favorite person of the day. After losing nearly 200 pounds, a man achieved his goal to be a police officer. When Romar Lyle started graduate school, he was studying criminal justice and investigative forensics. He wondered if his weight would stop him and prevent him from being able to become a police officer. He weighed more than 400 pounds. Do you hear me? He's 5'8", and as a student, he engaged in the practice of trying to discover if he could overcome his weight. He weighed 400 pounds, but somehow he lost the weight. He lost the weight and became an entirely different person, and that's where all of you should be clapping, because anybody who can lose that much weight is incredible. Let me say this. Ramar Lyle is my official favorite person of the day. And I'm telling you why. Because anytime you're able to change your life and you do it in such a way where it's so obvious that people can look at you and tell you're not the same person, you deserve not just a round of applause, but a standing ovation every morning in your life. I tell you this all the time when you watch this show. I tell you all the time, sometimes you have to feel the fear and do it anyway. And here this young man was afraid to go to the gym. He was afraid to exercise until one day someone invited him to a CrossFit gym, and he went to the CrossFit gym and he started working out. He thought he was going to be laughed at, but what happened was people were applauding him, telling him to keep going, telling him that he was doing great and that he could do it. He struggled to breathe, huh? Some of us know what that is, to be on the treadmill and to struggle to breathe. He was running slow, but he kept going. He kept going. And at the end of the day, he lost weight. He became an extraordinary version of himself. I love this man so much. Let me tell you why, man. Aretha Franklin, one of her songs is Rock Steady. You ever heard that song, Rock Steady? Yeah. Rock Steady, baby. That is the mantra of my life. Because sometimes you gotta just stand there and rock steady and let people laugh at you and criticize you and make fun of you and stab you in your back, but you stand there and you rock steady and you believe that as soon as they get through laughing, you're gonna do exactly what you believe you have the power to do. I'm telling you. Now, I believe fundamentally that whatever it is you're trying to do in life, it can be done. It will be done. It must be done. And the question you got to ask yourself is this: what if I was born to do this? What if the only reason I came out of my mother's womb was to do the thing that I'm trying to do right now? And when you think like that, you begin to understand that it was not the wind that made the caterpillar worthy of the sky. It was all the years she toiled in the mud, dying in the dirt, and believing somehow in the midst of it all that she deserved a better life. And then one day it happened. Because it turns out that caterpillars do become butterflies. Woo! I love Mr. Lyle. I want to have him on my show, because if you can lose, you weigh 400 pounds and get down to what he got down to, I need to talk to you. I need you to mentor me. It's amazing, brothers and sisters, because, you know, we all deal with fear and anxiety. And tonight's show is about getting out of our own way. Tonight's show is about what are the things that we're doing, the behaviors that we're doing, the thoughts that we're thinking that keep getting in our own way. Why do we keep sabotaging ourselves? And Mr. Lyle shows us that if you just get out of your way, you just get out of your own way, you'd be surprised at how doors will open up for you and incredible things will happen. And that's what my show is all about. My show is all about empowering people. I want people to leave my show feeling better, thinking better, loving better, making money better. I want people to be better. I want people to be richer. Nah, not perfect, because none of us will be that. But better we can achieve, and we can achieve better tonight. So, I'm done, but let me say this. Come in. You don't have to die like this. You do not have to die like this. Fight for your life, because you deserve to live. All right. So, before we bring on my excellent guest tonight, who's a friend of mine and a friend of the show, I want you to know that this show is interactive. You can connect with us right now. Tweet us at Foxhole TV. Call us 866-FOXHOLE. Be a part of the conversation. We need to hear from you tonight, especially if there's some things you've been saying you wanted to do all of 2019 that you haven't done. And you don't want to go into next year with the same dithering and lagging and all of that. If you need some advice tonight, I got the right person to give it to you. If you're in the studio audience tonight and you need some advice, I got the right person to give it to you tonight. I'm telling you, tonight is all about making sure 19 days from now, you're running into the rest of your life. Having said that, welcome to the show, someone who is an author, a psychologist, a minister, and an all-around amazing person, Dr. Thelma Bryant Davis. Hey, how you doing?
Doing great. Thank you for having me.
Have a seat. You also teach at Pepperdine, right?
Yes, I do. In the graduate school, so training future psychologists.
So you are a psychologist who trains psychologists.
That's how we do it.
You know, I couldn't wait to have you on because one of the things I think we don't realize is how time is moving, right? You know, when you get older, I mean, time just, it feels like it was June yesterday. Right?
Yeah.
And here we are 19 days from the end of the year. And what amazes me about it is how much people don't think about their lives. Yeah. We're on autopilot most of the time. Is that right?
Absolutely. A lot of us are disconnected, going through the motions, and the thing that we keep saying is one day. One day I'm going to do that, and then you look up and you're like, how did I get to be this age? And I'm not where I intended to be. And so I think it is not by coincidence that you would have this topic at this point, as you said, at the end of a decade, because many of us need a wake-up call to say, what is it that is keeping me from the person that I was born to be? And a lot of times, even though we have oppression, we have discrimination, all of those things are real. And then there are also ways that we stand in our own way and stand on our wings. And so
Whoa. Wait. Stand on our, I never heard that before.
Yeah. We stand on our own wings, playing small. It's like when we had the new Miss Universe from South Africa say her advice, her advice to young women is to take up space. And many times we are shrinking, we're hiding because what we have noticed is when people shine, they become a target. So many of us are afraid of being a target and don't want to say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, and so we play it small and play it safe, but the reality is while we feel safe, we're still frustrated. Right?
Dying in safety.
Dying in safety.
Which is a strange contradiction.
And the reality is even when you try to play small, people will still come for you. Right? Right? You're like, I'm not even doing my full thing, and y'all coming for me. So then you might as well like live out loud, because they're coming anyway. So for them not to be the deciding factor on what I do with my life.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful, yeah. That's rich. I love that. I love the notion of stop standing on your own wings.
Yeah.
Consider that stolen.
Take it. Take it by Dr. Sean.
I give you credit for it the first 3 times.
Got it.
And then it's totally mine.
Yeah.
But having said that, can you talk to us a little bit about what it means in the literal sense?
Yeah.
Because I know people who are afraid to be alone and afraid to be in a relationship.
Yes.
And you kind of want to go, what the hell? How can you be afraid choose one.
Yeah.
So talk to us in literal terms what it means to be in your own way.
Yeah. So what it really is fundamentally is that we are trying to be safe. And when we have had experiences that left us vulnerable, that left us taken advantage of, that left us rejected or misused, it makes sense that I would try to come up with a strategy that would keep me safe. And what we end up doing is overgeneralizing. So we say, well, the time that I was like the head or spoke up on that project, people mistreated me. So now my overgeneralization is, I don't want to lead anything, y'all have it. But I'm sitting here frustrated because my ideas really are better than your ideas, right? So it's like I'm afraid to follow you and I'm afraid to lead it because both things have their risk. And so to be great is to be willing to take risk.
That's good.
Right?
That's good.
And one of the ways that we stand in our own way is by being something that we're not. is being a fake or a fraud. And it's kind of like with television where they figure out like one show that works and then they model every show after that.
Right.
So that is what we do as individuals, is we notice like who's the popular one, or who is the one people celebrate, or who is the one people say is beautiful, or who is the one that people say is smart.
That's good.
And then let me try to act like them, and I'm always going to be second best because I'm an imitation of them, because I don't believe if I showed up as my greatness that would be sufficient.
And the harrowing part of it is we know it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We know it. We know that we're imitating someone.
Oh, absolutely.
We know that we're perpetrating a fraud. And even when the lie gets good and seductive, when nobody's looking, we still know.
Right. And the painful part is, then when we are in the presence of greatness, we either become intimidated or envious. You know, not recognizing when they say the sky is big enough for all the stars to shine, right? So it's like if someone walks in and they look kind of disheveled and they look down or they're quiet, then we'll conclude, oh, they have low self-esteem, let me encourage them. But if someone walks in looking fabulous, but they're also shy and quiet, then we say, oh, she ain't all of that. Right? Who she thinks she, right? We create a story because of our own admiration. Right? We admire you and feel small in your presence, and so we assume you must see us as small, and then we shrink.
Okay.
So it really is about healing my need for other people to give me my identity. Right? When I show up clear about who I am, then people can like it or not. But here's the beautiful thing is, for the most part, people like authenticity. Right? Like you could be a little quirky, you might be churchy, you might be artsy, whatever your thing is, but when it just feels genuine, then people are drawn to that.
They roll with it.
Yes.
They roll. I mean, a matter of fact, I'm going to go left field and then come back. That's how Donald Trump won the presidency.
Yes.
He was running against an inauthentic candidate who sort of measured everything by polls, and he was just ignorant. You know.
I'm just going to be myself, and even, I want to say, not even totally himself, but he played into people's fears.
Right.
And he people believed his hype.
Right.
And that's why we have to always, we call it in church language, discernment of spirit. Right? That you have to be able to read the difference between people's hype and their truth. Right?
That's good.
Because we learn how to pitch ourselves, people do the elevator talk in LA. Like you have to have your soundbite of who are you and what do you have to offer, knowing how to sell yourself, and to be clear when someone is trying to sell you. Right? To not be so, as you said, seduced into the lie.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, it's what you're saying is powerful on so many levels. And it leads me to wonder, this may sound cliche, but I don't mean it to be, because to me there's a dimension of depth in it. How important is what you say connected to what you will become?
Yeah. So there is, in psychology, something called positive self-talk. And not just talking to yourself, but the thoughts that you think about yourself, they shape your behavior. So in cognitive behavioral therapy, our thoughts affect our feelings, and then they affect our behavior. It's a triangle, and they're interrelated. So the way I think about me is going to affect how I feel. And then how I feel is going to affect how I show up in a space, right? So if I'm going for a job interview and the whole ride over there, I'm like, they're not going to pick me. They are not going to pick me. They are not going to, right? And then I walk in with that, right? And so now it's what we call a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Even at clubs, I want to know if I'll give this away, but a young man was telling me when he sees a group of women, he picks the insecure one.
Wow.
Right? That it's an easier task. So he'll observe the group, who's in the in crowd, Who's confident, smiling, who is everyone listening to? And then he said, and then there's always one kind of on the edge, right? Who becomes in some ways a mark. And so even, is she saying anything out loud? No, but my body language is telling on me. Right? I have a big cousin who would always say, head up, shoulders back, right? She's like, if you're a woman in this family, you got to know how to walk, right? We walk, right? So so when you have that kind of training, I'm going to say, that kind of rearing versus if everyday people are telling you, you're not this, you're not that, then you embody it and people see that on you.
Right. I've often said, first of all, we should clap for that because that's real. That's totally real. I have said that when you know who you are, people can tell when you walk in a room.
Yeah.
That when you hold your fork differently. Right. You drink water differently, right?
Yeah.
And when you know who you are, it just affects. I was talking to a young man after one of my shows, and I said to him, I said, what you don't realize, sir, is that you are affecting people without even opening your mouth. And he had no idea. Yeah. Because people can pick up on that sense of centeredness and groundedness. Yeah. And at the end of the day, that's what people want to invest in.
Absolutely. People want to be a part of success. So I saw a wonderful interview with Issa Rae, and she was saying how she had to have a shift in her mind because initially she kept looking for someone who would give her an opportunity, right? Give her a chance. And then when it became, let me just go and do my thing, then I walk around with something to offer. Because some of us exude what our young people would say, thirsty, right? So when you walk around thirsty, then people don't pick up on you having anything to offer, right? Versus when I have some clarity that I'm here to learn, to share, but I also, Intozaki Shange, the name means she who comes with her own things. And I just love that. They're like, when you show up, right? I come with my own things.
That's good.
And but you have to know what you come with.
That's good.
And my things don't have to be somebody else's things, right? But being able to glory in my own package.
So listen, I stole your cell phone.
Yes, you did.
And but I'm gonna give it back to you because you have something called Tweets for the Soul.
Yes.
And I was hoping because I have to throw to a break, and we're gonna bring out some guests, and you're gonna help them get themselves to the place where they're running in to the next decade. But I was hoping you might share a couple of your Tweets for the Soul.
Absolutely. So these are on Twitter, and then I put a collection of them together in a book on Amazon called Tweets for the Soul. So one of them having to do with relationships, very important, because you know that can sabotage your whole decade. All right. Okay, so that one is
facts.
It is, I hope you find someone who speaks your language so you don't have to spend a lifetime translating your spirit.
Wow.
Right?
That's good.
So many times we hold on to someone who is not even a match because you want to have somebody. And then that's a way of standing on your wings. If you're in a relationship bored, playing small, walking on eggshells, that's standing on your own wings. If you can't have peace in your house, that's standing in your own wings, right? And so looking for, I have to know me to know if the person I am talking to speaks my language. I don't know if I don't know me, then how can I know what I like? Yes? So make that commitment to yourself as you're going into this decade.
Give us one more.
All right.
So I can throw the break.
Yes. This one is, this is not the life you pictured, but here you are. You can still make something beautiful. Grieve, breathe, begin again.
All right.
All right.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't you go anywhere. We're going to meet two people who are trying to make sure that the rest of their lives are the best of their lives. We'll be right back.
Why, hello there, lovely people. I'm Tammy Mack, and you can join me daily on Fox Soul on the Tammy Mack Late Show, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Pacific. I'll bring you the hottest entertainers, and we're going to dig deeper into their journey as they try to carve out a legacy for themselves. Fox Soul is live and interactive, so make sure you join us by calling in at 866-FOX-SOUL, tweeting us at Fox Soul TV, live commenting by logging on to foxsoul.tv, or you can be a part of our live studio audience. Yeah, we have lots of fun, y'all. All you have to do to be a part of that is email us at audience@foxsoul.tv. Fox Soul and the Tammy Mack Late Show. Fox Soul, the new home for Black culture.
Hey, this is Gary from Dish Nation. Catch us on Fox Soul weeknights at 11:30 p.m. Pacific and 2:30 a.m. Eastern.
Welcome back to On the 7 with Dr. Sean here on Fox Soul. And if you're just joining us, we're getting some expert sage advice on how to get out of our own way and to achieve our goals and desires. My next guest say that anxiety and self-sabotage are holding them back from achieving their dreams and their best lives. Please welcome to the show Larissa Castro and my brother Sidney Tolbert. How are you? Let me help you up. Let me help you. I got you. Come on, have a seat. What's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. How are y'all doing?
Good to see you.
You all right?
I'm good.
Welcome to On the 7.
Hey.
It's good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So listen. So you guys were listening in the back, right?
Yeah.
And so you know what we're talking about. And I didn't want to have Dr. Davis come on and just sort of give us theoretical advice. I thought we would do well for the audience to be able to see two people who are working through some things, right? Yeah. Because let's set the table. Look out there. Everybody in here is working through something. Now look up here. So are we. Okay. We are in solidarity tonight in terms of the things that we're working through. What you're going to help us do is you're going to model for us what it looks like and what it feels like to be courageous enough to say, 19 days from now, I want everything to be different.
True.
I want everything to do. Now, when I say that, how does that strike you? How does that strike your spirit? Because I saw the look on your face.
I definitely want a lot of things in my life to be different in the next, phase going into 2020. I don't know.
I'm just trying to have a clear vision, like my mom says, like, she likes to have sayings for New Year's. So it's just like, it's clear vision in 2020. Like, you're gonna have a clear vision, everything, whatever you put out there, whatever you manifest to you, is gonna come right to you. It's not gonna take forever. Like, you see it right now, you better bring it to you now. So she's always like, it's a new moon, it's something going on, so you gotta bring that to you right now. So
your mom has a sense of an embedded expectation for you and for your life. And it's a gift to have her always setting your course and pointing you toward the North Star. You better keep that. That's a blessing. It really is. Now, but Larissa, I want to begin with you, if I could.
Okay.
And because tell us, in what ways do you sense yourself to be standing in your own way? What about you is standing in the way?
I feel like procrastination, anxiety. I heard of something when I was younger, like, I guess like a lot of women are afraid to be successful. Have y'all heard of this, or you know what that's called? Okay, right. So like, I don't know if it's that. I don't know. It's just like, wow, combination. I get really worked up, and I let myself fail myself. You know what I mean? Like, I'll set up plans or have something going on, and then the follow through, because I get so irritated or so anxious and nervous for everything, overthinking. Just,
I do. But something particular happened in 2017 for you.
Okay, yeah. I had got into a really bad car accident, actually. And I felt like everything in my life just slowed down and kind of changed after that, because I was just like, wow, like I made it to 18. Like everything changed. It was just all the things that I would have done. Everything was just different, everything. And so after that, I feel like I always had these issues but it was so much easier to work through them. And then it just became super hard.
Dr. Thelma, you're hearing Larissa talk about it without talking about it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You hear her groping for a language.
Yeah.
What might you say to
So, first I want to honor you, because for an anxious person to say I'm going to come on television is amazing.
Thanks.
It's amazing. Yeah. It is. Thank you. So, and you showed up, right? You have already shifted the trajectory, right?
No, I'm trying to stay on that momentum.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. And the thing that you said about, particularly for women, is a reality. When we look at something called feminist psychology, it's helping people to know that you are not the source of all your problems, right? We constantly get bombarded with messages about how we're supposed to be as women. And then when you actually start to believe those messages, then people will say, like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
Right?
Right.
But of course, since we are girls, you're coming up and seeing these billboards, these ideas. When I was in college and I made it on the honor roll in my dean's list, my father was bragging on me, and one of his friends said, "Oh, she's not going to be able to find a man like that."
Oh, chill.
Right? That was his response to me being on the dean's list. Yes? So we get these messages where to be excellent will make you less desirable.
That's totally everything you said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So what I get from you is, as with all of us, as Dr. Sean was saying, is you have a layered story, and that you are controlling and owning your story, which is a strength, right?
Yes,
that you decided to come. You're welcome.
Yes, it's hard,
right?
but I'm like learning how to just like take it back, the control.
Yes,
you know?
and it's so important to own our voice, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes we can feel like because something is asked of us that we have to just put everything. And what you're doing is you're in some way self-censoring, self-monitoring, deciding what of me do I want to share in this moment. And that's growth. And it's also growth that you recognize that you're getting in your way. Because many people can't see it, and if a therapist even points it out to them, they'll say, no, that's not true.
Right, and then find a whole bunch of ways to turn it back around. No, I know what's going on.
Yeah.
If I'm Sydney, I want to ask you a question in a second. But if can I push a little bit because I'm interested in knowing, and can you trace when you began feeling anxious all the time or most of the time? Can you pinpoint the moment where it sort of became a part of your way of being in the world?
Well, like I said, probably like I said, my whole life always like, oh my God, it's so embarrassing. Like when I was in like sophomore year in high school, my mom moved us across the country, and then I didn't really have any friends or anything, so I don't want to talk to nobody. So I would just be like sitting by my locker crocheting, because I don't want to talk to nobody because I was so socially like anxious. Like I didn't know how to really have good conversations.
And vulnerable.
Yes, also vulnerable because it's like I don't want to be talking to people that, you know, have bad intentions, going to say this and that about you. You know how high school is, so I was like so overthinking all that stupid stuff. Yeah. Like, but that was a big deal to me before, you know, so I would just be really like just kind of standoffish, lonesome, whatever. But that was like forever. And then that car accident, and then I had another situation kind of like in 2018. So with the combination of all those things, it was just like so hard to deal with. Oh my God, you know?
No, I hear you. You know, Dr. Thelma, before I turn to Sydney, the reason I asked her the question the way I did, and I'm hoping you can give us some insight on this. Sometimes I'm asking, isn't it important for us to understand how we entered into a mode of thinking as much as it is for us to understand how to get out of it?
Absolutely. So what you're referring to and what you are indirectly referring to is post-traumatic stress.
I knew I had that.
Yeah.
But can I jump in?
Yes.
Because I don't want to leave Sydney out of this. Because Sydney has a very, as I understand it, a different sort of challenge, right? So as I understand it, your issue is self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, like I feel like I hold myself back from a lot of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm the person that I could say I'm talented. Like, I'm a dancer, I'm a street performer. I travel around doing street shows, and I've been offered different opportunities, but I've been a person that worried about what people think about me so much, like a lot. Like, all right, I'm worried, like, what they think, like, oh, well, or stopping myself from an opportunity because of maybe money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I make a good amount of money dancing on the street. So then maybe I get invited to be on a show and it's for free. And I'm like, well, I make this much money dancing on the street. And then find out that Jay-Z was there and he was giving out deals. You know what I'm saying? Or Kanye was there.
Yeah,
and this is like, dang, like I just missed out on a blessing, you know what I mean? Because I was worried about this or that, you know what I mean? So I think that's what it is for me. Or like one particular time I was in Atlanta and it's this guy he's a record executive dude. His name's like Tomcat. And like he was like, yo, I want you to do this video. It's called Stanky Leg. And I was like, Stanky Leg, but the video blew up and it's like, do the Stanky Leg. I could have made the dance to that song. But instead, I was just like, hey, they don't want to see no break dancer doing some stupid dance, and then it blew up. So then it's like, I feel like I hold myself back a lot, like worried about what people think about. I was always the outcast. I was always the black sheep, the person that didn't fit in. So even though I am a leader, even though I am in a certain, I feel like I hold myself from being even bigger. Like me being 34 now, like me being a dancer, I'm like, well, they can go get a 20-year-old to do what I do 10 times better.
Yeah.
But they're like, yo, but we want you.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, but I'm like, you know? So it's like, but you have to know what works for you and what's your lane. And that's what I'm trying to be on.
Dr. Thelma, you know, listening to Sydney, first of all, just thank you for sharing that, because that's major. I don't know, they don't understand it. But he almost sounds like, is that self-sabotaging, or is that about the fact that he has a decision-making process that's not working for him?
Yeah.
Are they the same thing?
No, it's two different things. And the first thing I want to say to you is that dance is therapy. Right?
Yeah.
So instead of thinking about, let me push past my anxiety so I can dance, if you could channel your anxiety into your dance, that would be amazing.
Okay.
Like, I already know, if I asked you to give us like 16 counts of anxiety, like what does that look like in movement? Could you do that?
Like, what do you mean, like interpret like what anxiety is?
What anxiety feels like without words, just in your body?
Do it.
What does anxiety look like? Don't overthink it.
Yeah, it's a lot that goes through my mind.
Not words.
I'm trying to see
Right
if I
here.
got enough room
You got it
for
right
it.
here.
Don't sabotage yourself. This is it. I want to see what anxiety
That's
looks
right.
like.
That's good, Thelma. That's good. That's good.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna need y'all to like clap and like give me like a beat, like a soul clap.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. Y'all give it up.
That's good. That's good.
Yes.
That's good.
Thank
Now,
you.
Sydney, come here for a second. Come
Thank
here.
you.
Sydney.
Major.
Stay standing. Stay standing.
Major.
I don't want you to dance. I don't want you to. I don't want you to break dance. I want you to move your body and show me what anxiety looks like.
Anxiety?
Without your mouth. There you go. There you go. That's it. That's it.
And then when your mom shows up and speaks life to you and says, what's her quote about this new year?
Then 2020 is clear vision.
2020 is clear vision. Let's see that. Standing right here. What is clear vision? What would it mean for you to be your mother's son?
Show us with your body, not your mouth.
I don't even know. I don't even know.
It's all right.
Here, come here. Yeah.
It's emotional.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
That's it.
So the reality is your anxiety is actually not you. What happens is we make a mistake and think our symptom is our identity, right? You have become anxious, but you are not anxious. And so it is about recognizing who I am separate from my symptoms, right? Because what makes you not follow through with things, what makes you question whether or not, like, is this gonna be my big break, or if it's not, it's a waste of my time, is because of the fear, you know, your fear of aging out, and your fear of being broke, and your fear of more danger, and your fear of more trauma, right?
Dr. Thelma, if I may,
Yes.
I want to ask both of you this question. How do you feel having done that? How do you feel right now?
Like a rush. Like I have it's a lot like that's going through my brain right now. Like I feel like a release. Like I feel like it ain't too late for me type thing. You know what I mean? Sometimes I have dreams, and then sometimes I don't know where I'm at. Like I be on a stage, or I be like an audience. Like I'll see an audience, but I don't know where I am or what I'm doing. But then when it happens, it happens. And like right now, this feels like something that was in a dream of mine. Like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like,
No, stop.
Yeah.
Stop, because that's enough. That's enough. You need to sit right there.
yeah.
That's enough. Larissa, you saw that.
Yeah.
You saw that. Could you identify with any of it?
Yes, definitely.
How do you feel?
I feel like I caught some of the, powerful vibes. I mean, he's giving off that energy, for sure.
And what does that feel like? Give me feelings.
It feels good. I feel a little safer here today. I got to talk about that. That's nice. You hit the both nails on both heads, just smacked them like. So yeah, I definitely feel like understood a little bit, and I feel like I have a little bit of a clear sense of what's going on, because you're right, that's not my identity. That's just some things that happen that, it's like along the course of the road, but it doesn't mean it's a bad road or a bad street, or where the street's headed to isn't like popping. Like the party at the end of the road is popping.
That's what I love about what you just said is that you're putting your finger on the pressure point. What struck me about what you just said is that you feel safe. You feel safe. And you've also identified tonight that a part of your anxiety comes from the fact that you felt vulnerable at a very important part of your life. So if we here at On the 7 with Dr. Sean and Fox Soul have accomplished the goal of making you feel safe, then we've done something significant,
Yes,
right?
definitely.
But what's interesting, Dr. Thelma, is that as I listen to both of them, you gave him some sage advice to not try to push past the anxiety, right?
Yeah.
But to make the anxiety, say it the way you said it, because I'm going to mess it up.
Embrace it.
Embrace it, channel it, connect with it, because what happens is we have an emotion and then we judge the emotion, which makes my problem worse. Right? So like if I'm depressed and now I'm mad at myself for being depressed, I have doubled my problem. Right? Instead of just saying, I'm just depressed, right? So owning where you are and letting that show up with you as you show up, because it's your truth. Right? It takes so much work living a lie, it's so much work wearing a mask, and most of us grew up in households where we were taught to mask.
You had
Right?
to hold yourself in. You couldn't be you. You had to worry about what the people thought about you.
Yeah.
Was that true in your house?
Not really in my house, but just, well, kinda. Like my family, like my grandmother, my mom, they're all like entertainers. So my grandmother used to dance with James Brown. She used to sing background for a lot of people, Earth, Wind, and Fire, stuff like that. But my dad's side of the family was more like really like kept to yourself. Don't show your feelings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Type of thing. And it was like, with him, it was like a real strict type of thing. It was like I was afraid to be open to my dad, you know what I mean? Because he's my dad. It's like, yes, sir, no, sir, like thing.
Yeah.
But then, like my mom and my family, I could be more open to my mom. But then now that I'm an adult, it's hard to have a relationship with my dad because he still looks at me as like the dude that's gonna be like, yes, sir, like, you know, no, sir. But now it's like, yo, we could be able to just be open, like, you know?
Yes.
So that applies to a lot of things in my life too now, like, you know what I'm saying? Just being able to have those different things and being able to know that people have, some people are open, some people you can be open with them, some people you can be open in a different way.
But stop for a second, because what you just said is more profound than you think. Because first and foremost, the person you need to be open with is you. Give yourself the gift of that openness, right?
Okay.
And other people can't receive it or don't want it around. That's on them. But first and foremost, give it to yourself. Because what I hear, I mean, that's a tension.
Yeah.
To have one side of who you are, artistic, ready to flow, emote, express, and then the other side of who you are, where you come from, shut down, don't say it, don't express it. How in the world?
Yes. Do you find yourself in that?
In fact, Dr. I'm sorry, it makes you more impressive to me. They should be clapping, but it makes you more impressive to me. I mean, the fact that you can sit here, right, that you've worked through that to become an artist.
Yeah, it's
I
beautiful.
appreciate that.
It's beautiful. And I think with your mother's side of the family, with their success, that's what has you tied up in your decision making, because you keep looking for the really big break. And that's why you miss these moments, right? Because it doesn't look big when people are offering it. Yes.
Yeah,
so it's a challenge when you're raised to believe you're a star, right? And then you're like, well, this is not a star opportunity, so I'm not supposed to do it, right?
Right.
So it's trusting that the detours are a part of the path. So what looks like a small role, I'm going to go in and like maximize it, and it's going to be a part of the journey.
And that's what I'm trying to do with like street, because you know how many people tell me that street performing will get me nowhere? And then people is like, well, your grandma is such and such and such. And then you dancing on the street? But it's just like dancing on the street, that's the lane that I decided to go in.
Yes.
Like, because when you're in the car, you have 4 lanes. You got a fast lane, you got a slow lane, you got a lane you can pass by people, but you have your lane that you can drive in.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, whatever you good at, you find your lane, you're gonna drive in it.
Yes.
It's the same thing with me. But with me, I look at entertainment as entertainment. I don't look at it as like, oh, well, I don't have this big break from whatever. To me, I'm still a dancer. I'm still an entertainer. And you should embrace me the same way, you know?
So it's that.
If I may, then I'm going to challenge you, all right? I'm going to challenge you that in 2020, that you stop turning down opportunities because they don't look like what you think they should. And that every time somebody asks you to manifest your gift, that you run to it. And that you run to it eagerly and with passion. You know what I'm saying? Because, let me say something, you look at me. What if the next time you dance is the last time you get to dance? And what if what you just did tonight is the only dance you get to do? You don't have the luxury of deciding what you will and won't dance for. If you were born to dance, you got to do it. You understand that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be your dad and your uncle right now. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I believe in you. Would you? I got 3 minutes. Would you give Larissa just a couple of strategies, just to work through, so she can have something to arm herself with?
Yes. So one of the things for you is going to be being in the present moment. And so what happens for you is you get caught either in flashbacks of things that have happened, or what we call like anticipatory, where I am imagining what could go wrong, right?
Thinking of endless possibilities.
Yeah, so you run those over and over in your head. And so a way to step out of the past and step out of the future is to make a decision to be in the present. It's called mindfulness, right? So it's being in the present on purpose. So I can't stop random thoughts from popping in my head, but when they pop, if it's not present oriented, then I shift back to the present, right? The past starts showing up. I'm not there anymore. It is 2019. It's 2020. I am here, right? In the present.
Yes.
And then the other piece is I want you to become aware that we have the power for something called biofeedback, where you can calm yourself down, right? Instead of needing somebody else to do it for you. So where in your body do you feel your anxiety? When you're anxious, where do you feel it?
I got 30 seconds.
Okay.
My back, my like upper back.
Yes. So you just
shoulders.
send breath to those areas of the body. You tighten the muscles and you relax them and say, I have the capacity to calm myself. Yes?
Oh, that was good. That's good. That's good. I want to thank both of you for being here. Sydney, Larissa, I'm honored to be able to share this part of your life with you. And I know that I'm looking forward to seeing you a year from now, 5 years from now, and what you're going to accomplish. I'm going to sign off, but before I do, would you do me a favor? 20 seconds.
20 seconds.
20 seconds.
All right.
Look into that camera.
Okay.
And just get people ready for 2020.
All right. Who will
That
sing?
one.
Who will sing an upbeat black girl song? Songs of now and laters and bus passes. Songs of name brand jeans and name brand shoes, branded in place where nobody knows her name. Because the world says, the downbeat says she's so black and lazy and slack. But who will sing an upbeat black girl song? Songs like your grandmother, songs like Rosa Parks, songs like Phyllis Wheatley. Put your soul in your mind, in your heart, in your spirit, and make a decision to sing an upbeat black girl song, and the world will marvel at how long you hold your notes.
I want to thank my guests tonight, Dr. Thelma Bryant Davis, Larissa Castro, Sydney Tolbert, for joining and sharing with us their remarkable stories. I'm excited about their future. Thanks to our studio audience for being part of the conversation. Thanks for watching us on the Fox Soul mobile app. If you're in LA and want to be a part of our studio audience, join us. Email us at audience@foxsoul.tv. Slow down, Dr. Sean. Keep posting your questions and your comments, and make sure you tune in to Fox Soul. I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Up next is the Mike and Donnie Show. Be good to each other. I love you.
Hey.